What's up, everybody? I'm your man, Joshua Short, and this is the 30 After. Right now, I am here with a very known protester here in Chicago. Lamon Reccord is with us. Lamon, welcome to the 30 After, sir.
Thank you for having me. How you doing?
Let's talk about what's going on really quickly. The hot topic is the protests that are happening in both Tulsa and in Charlotte. What are your opinions about it?
Like I said, it's all about the leadership. You know, it's two different cities, and they're experiencing two different, completely different situations, especially when it comes not to police brutality, but police terrorism. But with that leadership, you got leadership that wants to be violent, you got leadership that wants to be peaceful. That's just how people get that message across. Same way when it was in Ferguson and Baltimore, when they turned the city over, if you ask me. That's how they got their message across, and that's how they showed the politicians, the elected officials, and the police officers that they're dissatisfied with the leadership in their city, that they cannot take it anymore, not only as African Americans, not only as Caucasians, but as human beings in that city, in that state. They are fed up with what's going on.
And I don't know if my director can bring up some of the pictures, but you are known as the stare-down cop guy. And I don't know if we still have those pictures up there, but you are known for just staring down cops, not saying a word. What are you looking to achieve when you do that?
Well, I want to draw attention to the struggle of African Americans, that what we face every single day amongst police officers, amongst the system, as far as politicians and ourselves, every single day, on how our lives are put in danger by ourselves.
Was it natural? Like when you did it, was it natural? Did you just say, I'm going to stare down as police? Or did you go to a police officer, he said something, and you just couldn't respond? What was going through your mind when you did it?
Actually, what really triggered that action was, out of the whole line of officers, that was the only officer with a thick wood stick out, like he was about to be Superman with it. So, you know, I'm like, okay, you want to be out with a stick and think you're going to be Mr. Bang. So, so I just decided, like, okay, I'm going to fight fire with fire. If you want to sit there and you want to be peaceful protester, I can do the same things where at the end of the day, you're going to look in my eyes and you're going to realize the struggle of African American.
Now I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to, put in detriment your character, what you do, but this is what people would like to know. You've been arrested before because of these protests, or you've been involved in certain things like making your voice heard, but you've been doing it in a way that would warrant an arrest. What do you say to the naysayers that say he's just a thug, he's not a protester? What do you say to them?
I say let them keep talking. Just let them keep on talking, because at the end of the day, when they put my name in their mouth, they give me power. But they don't understand. They don't understand what I'm actually out here doing. They're just going off what the news say or what Facebook say, but there's no getting to the bottom line. There's no getting to the source of where the problem is really coming from.
Gotcha.
They don't know how to get to that. But I say let them keep on talking, because they don't know me and I don't know them. But people are going to talk about you to the day you die, and there's nothing you can do about it, but let them talk. So I'm most definitely used to it.
Are you in school right now?
Actually, I'm not in school. I'm done. I'm actually done.
And now, is this a way to say you have more time on your hands to do the right thing in terms of being a protester? Do you see what's happening now? Are you using this time to be a leader, or how are you using this spare time that you have?
I just take one day at a time. Every day I just take one day at a time. And life is all about having patience. You just got to wait on your blessing.
Gotcha.
But knowing that our kids getting gunned down every single day, that taxes getting higher and higher every day from the mayor and all these other sources from the city, just the list goes on and on from these situations. But I do it strategically.
Okay.
And I plan and organize strategically. And I always got to come back to myself and say, look, if I plan on doing this, I need to have a backup plan and saying, if this don't work, I need to do this. And if that don't work, I need to do this. Or, it's just all about being strategic.
Now, let me stop you here. And the following question I'm going to ask is, it may catch you off guard, but I feel that you are eloquent enough to answer it. When people say the black on black crime is prevalent.
Right.
And yet when a police officer who is white shoots someone, everyone is up in arms. But when a baby gets shot in the community, no one does anything.
Right.
What do you say to that? What say you about that?
I'm glad you asked that. You know what? It's actually funny how I say probably like 2 weeks ago, true story, I met an officer right here in Chicago. He's an officer from Jackson, Mississippi. And he pulled up in a car out of nowhere. He was like, I'll be seeing you on the news, and I see you on Facebook, and I know what you're doing. But he asked me, he knew that I'm not with the legit Black Lives Matter organization.
Yes.
But he asked me, when our babies get gunned down, why is it that none of these Black Lives Matter activists are out here, but when the officer shoots somebody, they all over the place like roaches in the kitchen, we forget to take the garbage out. They're all over the place, and honestly, I couldn't answer that question. I couldn't answer that question, but actually I can answer that. It's a simple fact that people are scared to work with their own kind when it comes to situations like that in the community. But then again, you want to come back to yourself and think like, in Chicago, when it comes to quote unquote black on black crime,
because there is a such thing as white on white.
You
basically you're exposed to who you're around. So if you're in an all white community, they kill each other as well.
That's right.
I mean, it's interesting when people say that. I just wanted to get your point of view on it though, because a lot of people don't know how to eloquently respond. And obviously, you did the right thing. You didn't know how to respond, so you didn't.
Right.
And people who don't know how to respond usually puts themselves in a conundrum and they try to force the issue.
Exactly.
Do you know the answer to that now after thinking about it, having to be asked a question? Do you know how to answer that question?
Actually, I do, and I can say this. It's the simple fact on how, when it comes to the quote unquote black on black crime, and when our kids are actually getting gunned down, people they stop caring. Because in Chicago, especially being a black male, I experienced this feeling before. It's every man for themselves. And once you just see the same thing over and over on the news, like, oh, 15-year-old boy just got burnt to death, or Tyshawn Lee, just same things over and over. They'll just sit back and like, oh, well, they're just Chicago. That's Chicago for you. Oh, they're gonna kill each other anyway. But
so let me play devil's advocate. So then looking now, you see this is happening a lot with the police officers shooting unarmed black men.
That's right.
Would the viewers watching who may not agree with you say, okay, well, that happens a lot, but why is everyone up in arms about that? Is it the fact that it's police, that we look to them for safety and then they're not there?
That's exactly it. And people look at police officers and say, oh, well, you guys don't have a heart, or you guys don't protect and serve. And I always say my phone case protect and serve more than the police do. But it's the God, it's true. But when people see that them videos, the footage, the dash cam footage, the body cam footage of officers brutalizing and gunning down an African American, they're outraged because they know tax-paying dollars goes to CPD for you guys to protect and serve, but you guys are not doing a good job at that. For some reason, not only Chicago Police Department, but police department and law enforcement across this country find some way, somehow to de-escalate situations with a white man.
Now let me ask you this last question.
Talk to me.
Black Lives Matter. People would say, when you hear that Black Lives Matter, people are saying, well, that means it's a racist term. It means just Black lives only.
Right.
The Black Lives, All Lives Matter debate has been ongoing. What do you say regarding, what does it mean to you, Black Lives Matter?
Black Lives Matter, just them three powerful words, just that simple. And Black Lives Matter, knowing it came about, I believe in 2012 with Trayvon Martin, if I'm not mistaken. With that hashtag and that organization, it was just an eye-opener for not only black people, but citizens across this country to realize and wake up and say, this is an oppressed system that we are fighting every single day, that we are being oppressed by this system, that us African Americans are getting gunned down, stopped and frisked, brutalized, assaulted, and harassed by officers and each other every single day, that our lives are put in danger more than any other race across this country every single day. You look in our jail system, most people that's in jail or that's incarcerated are black people. And it's as if when it comes to Black Lives Matter, I always say this, black people need to hold themselves accountable, point blank period. It is time for us to start telling each other that Black Lives Matter, because if we don't do that soon, if we don't work with each other soon, sooner or later Chicago gonna become a big cemetery. That's it.
Someone told me that Black Lives Matter means all we're saying is just us two. And that's a good way to put it, because it convinces, because we're convinced about this.
Right.
And a lot of people may be convinced as well, but it's about teaching those who are not aware.
Exactly.
It's about convincing the unconvinced. So, Lamon Reccord, we thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is The 30 After. We thank you so much for watching. Again, tune in for the regular show all the time. You can see the dates and times on frequencytv.com. That does it for now. I'm Joshua Short. Thanks for joining us.